So in this video, I'm going to explain about college football coaches that are next to get fired. I know I've done countless videos on this, quite a few, but I'm going to do this differently. I'm going to go by game of the chances of the coaches to win games or lose more games, and will their job be safe or will it won't based on their record of this at the end of the season. And that's what I'm going to do. So the next victim is Auburn. Auburn's sitting at what? Auburn is sitting at 4-4. Now let's look at their schedule. They play Kentucky. I think they beat Kentucky. They play Vandy. That's a loss. They play Mercer, FCS team, a game that no one gives a crap about. That's a win. I'll give them that. Then they play Alabama, the Iron Bowl. That's a loss. So Auburn could finish 6-6. So that's once again they'll barely be bowl eligible. Another 5 or 6 win season for Hugh Freeze. Hugh Freeze will definitely get fired. I say after the Iron Bowl, after they lose to Alabama, which I know they're going to lose to Alabama. Alabama's a way better team. So Hugh Freeze is definitely getting fired. So on to the next team. Oklahoma. Now, some people say, Oklahoma's sinking too. Well, yeah, but let's say if Oklahoma don't make the playoffs, could Brent Venables be getting fired? At a program like Oklahoma, you should be contending for the playoffs every year. Oklahoma ain't been the same since they left the Big 12. Okay, so Tennessee, I think that's a loss. Alabama, that's a loss. Missouri, that's a win. LSU, I think you could beat LSU, or you might lose to them. So Oklahoma could go 8-4, maybe 7-5. Would that be good enough to save Brent Venables' job, even though they missed the playoff 3 years in a row? That might save his job and give him another chance next year to get him in the playoffs next year, or be fired, or they go 8-4, 7-5, and Oklahoma will probably fire Brent Venables. So we'll see what happens. So the next team. Kentucky. Auburn, loss. Florida, loss. Tennessee Tech, that's an FCS team. That's a win there. Vandy, loss. Louisville, loss. So Kentucky is sniffing at 3-9. They only got one win on their last few games of the year. What makes y'all think Kentucky can beat Vandy and Louisville? I don't see how. I mean, they might get lucky and beat both Florida and Auburn to go 5-7. I kind of don't see that, but it's a possibility. But it's looking at 3-9 for Kentucky, and I say Mark Stoops will definitely be out the door. Probably be out the door by the time they lose to Florida. So we'll see. On to the next team. Yes, I got it all written down. I got to go through my notes. Baylor. Baylor's sitting at 4-4. And, I mean, Baylor had a better year, but now they're back to regressing again. It seems like Dave Aranda is just not getting it done, not getting it going at Baylor ever since they had that 12-win season way back in 2021. Okay, see what we got. UCF. I think you're good enough to beat UCF. Utah, that's a loss. Arizona, I think you're a little bit better than Arizona. I think you win that. Houston, loss. You're sitting at 6-6, which is bowl eligible. For a program like Baylor, I don't think that's going to be acceptable. And I think Dave Aranda will be out the door. West Virginia went 6-6 last year, and they fired Neil Brown after having a 9-win season 2 seasons ago. So Baylor can do the same thing. Fire Dave Aranda for regressing from the previous season, and West Virginia did that last year. On to the next victim, Rutgers. They're sitting at 4-4. I don't think here it's going to be good for Rutgers. Illinois, loss. Maryland, that's probably your only win. So I'll give you that. Ohio State, loss. Penn State, even though Penn State's not that good, they're more talented than you, so that's a loss. That's 5-7. So Rutgers will miss out on a bowl. Rutgers can only seem to win 6 or 7 games. in the Big Ten. And I like Greg Schiano. He's a good coach, but I don't think it's going to get it done. I think Greg Schiano is going to get fired. On to the next victim. Southern Cal. They're sitting at what, 5-2? No, they're sitting at 6-2, my bad. Nebraska. I think they beat Nebraska. Northwestern, that's a win. Iowa, that's probably a win. Oregon, loss. Oregon's a better team. UCLA win. They're sitting at 9-3. And a 9-3 USC. There's a chance they might get in the playoffs, or there's a chance that they may not get in the playoffs. We'll see how things go towards the end of the season in the Big Ten, the SEC, and the rest of the Power Four. Would that be enough to save Lincoln Riley's job, going 9-3, or will it not save his job? Now, if he goes below that, yeah, I could see USC, Southern Cal, firing Lincoln Riley. On to the next team. Wisconsin. It's going to get ugly for Wisconsin when I name the teams they play. Washington, loss. Indiana, automatic loss. Illinois, loss. Minnesota, that's a loss. So Wisconsin is on the verge of going 2-10. I can't think of an easy win for them. I can't really think of a win. I mean, they might get lucky and beat Minnesota at the end of the year, and that'll put them at 3-9. So 2-10 is very likely. And Luke Fickell is not going to survive. He's not getting it done at Wisconsin. He's not working out. Wisconsin's been regressing since they fired Paul Chryst. So I don't see how Luke Fickell survives if Wisconsin goes 2-10 or 3-9. But 2-10 is way more likely. I don't see how Luke Fickell survives. So it looks bad for Wisconsin. So NC State. They're sitting at what, 4-4? They're sitting at 4-4. Georgia Tech, loss. Miami, loss. Florida State, they might win that game or they may not. I kind of leaning as probably a loss. North Carolina, win. So NC State could go 5-7. Or they might go 6-6. So you could flip the Florida State game around. That's kind of 50-50. And NC State will miss out on a bowl game. They'll be their second losing season in a row. They lost their bowl game last year. Went 6-7. And it looks like Dave Duran is going to get fired. NC State's been regressing. They've been failing to make expectations. So I don't see how NC State keeps Dave Duran. Now to the next victim. North Carolina. Which, here we go. Syracuse, loss. Stanford, win. Wake Forest, loss. Duke, loss. NC State, loss. So North Carolina can go 3-9. Maybe 4-8 if they can beat Syracuse. But there's a lot of drama going on with Bill Belichick and his girlfriend. Well, his girlfriend's fine as hell. I ain't gonna lie, I'd smash. But does North Carolina need that drama affecting the team? So Bill Belichick could get fired this year, even though this is his first year at North Carolina. If he don't get fired, I could see Bill Belichick being on the hot seat next season in 2026. On to the next team. Florida State. All right, Wake Forest, loss. Clemson, loss, which I think Clemson's more talented than you. Even though Clemson is shitty right now. So, Virginia Tech, that's a win. NC State, that's a win. Florida, this is a 50-50 game. Florida's not that good either. You could beat Florida, or you might lose to Florida. So that's hard to say. Even though DJ Lagway is a better quarterback than Tommy Castellanos. So, Florida State can go 5-7 and miss out on a bowl. Or they can go 6-6 and barely limp in a bowl game. I mean, that's still an improvement from last year's 2-10 disaster season when they were crying about the ACC, wanting to sue the ACC, wanting to sue ESPN, and afraid of Kirk Herbstreit going to get them in their nightmares like he's Freddy Krueger of the sports world. So, I think Mike Norvell will get the boot, regardless of what happens. let's say if he's able to coach the bowl game, if they go 6-6 and they lose that bowl game, he could still get fired, but it'll probably be too late, and there probably won't be any coaching candidates out there for Florida State to get. So on to the next team, Boston College. Oh, they're probably going to. Sorry about that. They're probably about to go down as one of the worst teams in the Power Four. Notre Dame, loss. SMU, loss. Georgia Tech, loss. Syracuse, loss. They're about to go 1-11. And Bill O'Brien is the coach. So, would you want to keep a coach for going 1-11? If you guys finish 1-11, even though they had a 7-win season, Boston College is not really a good football program. People don't even pay attention to Boston College. I forget Boston College exists. It's been, 20, 30 years? Well, I say 20 years since what? Boston College has been irrelevant. So, I think Bill O'Brien is going to get fired. You're not going to survive another year if you go 1-11. That's unacceptable. I mean, Boston College is a garbage program, don't get me wrong. I made a video about them being demoted to the group of 5 when I made a video on where teams, that ACC teams could go when conference realignment happens again, when it does. So this is my video. Coaches that are going to get fired, and I did the schedule and see, will they survive or will they won't? So anyway, like, subscribe, comment, share, and I got a couple more videos coming, and that's all I got for right now. Peace out.